Minasan, yokoso. It's Nanashi from Gameplay Shinobi. Today I'm bringing you a review of Toukiden Kiwami on PC. Now, I thought that Troll Biscuit didn't do a proper evaluation of the game. His focus was mostly on PC port specifics, and you know what? I have to agree with him. It's a terrible one. However, that's not the only reason why I have decided to make this review. A lot of people compare this game to Monster Hunter series. But is Toukiden Kiwami even close to Monster Hunter? More importantly, is the game even worth playing? Well, stay tuned as I guide you through different aspects of the game. Yuzo! First on our list is the PC port specific. So here's a quick list of issues. 30 frames per second lock. Game is taking dips in frame rate, especially in a village hub. However, recently released video drivers for my Radeon card fixed some of the issues there. And I gotta say, 30 frames per second is not that much of a deal for me. However, I would like to play the game in 60 frames, as in, because there is a slight input lag. Yeah, so that's kind of bad in action game. Nevertheless, gameplay is better in windowed mode. You get more frames. At least I had that issue, which is ludicrous. Always online DRM. Can't launch the game in offline mode. It won't start. Limited graphical options. I mean, the game looks a little bit muddy even on the highest settings. And there's, no resolution apart from 1080p, bigger than 1080p. No mouse implementation. Ugh, I'm not gonna even comment on that. Xbox 360 HUD. I mean the buttons if you're using the controller. So you're out of luck if you're using a different controllers. And not many people are online, and regional connectivity issues have been reported. Add to that £50, around £50 price tag plus overpriced DLCs. I mean, come on. Monster Hunter released the maps, the quests for free. So yeah, Koei Tecmo is full of themselves and they want to rob you from your money. You get the idea. Bad port, period. Let's talk a little bit about the story. So I have spent more than 30 hours with this game and I was pretty bored. Game does very little to keep you interested. Most of the story is told by companions via speech bubbles, which some of them are voiced in Japanese and the rest of them, well, you'll have to read them. In Monster Hunter, you had cutscenes when you entered a new area, encountered a new monster, or progressed through a story enough. The rest of the story was told by your companions via text. That being said, Monster Hunter series are not taking themselves too seriously, with a lot of puns and humor thrown in. Toukiden Kiwami, however, tries to be serious, but it fails. There's no emotional attachment to the characters. I couldn't care less what happened to them in the past or whether they will die in the course of duty with me. They are merely an excuse so the game has a story. Toukiden also follows the pattern of Monster Hunter, which means you are the village hero. That being said, it doesn't really deliver that enjoyment and when defeating monster or saving the village. In other words, I would save Moga Village with Cha-Cha and Kayamba in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate any day than this in Toukiden. Before I talk about Toukiden, I'll tell you, my dear viewer, what makes Monster Hunter series great. To best describe Monster Hunter, I need to use this phrase borrowed from a PS2 cover of Monster Hunter. Hunt or be hunted. Monsters are the reason why the game is so much fun to play. They have their own ecology, they go to sleep, they need to feed, they limp when injured, and they have their own signature attacks or elements, and most of the animations are easily recognizable so player can avoid taking damage. Hitboxes are good, except for Plesiot hip check, and fighting is all about looking for the opening or creating one. In other words, if you're like reckless and greedy with your attacks, you will die. Should you die 3 times, you will fail the quest. Learning to survive and avoid enemy attacks is crucial in Monster Hunter series. Monster can easily kill you in one shot, on G rank especially. Therefore, it creates this tension to the very end of the hunt, and even when you kill the same monster over and over again, it still feels fresh and fills the player with the sense of victory and relief. Now you can take traps with you, flash bombs, poison daggers, barrel bombs, and all sorts of crazy stuff to help you with the hunt. There are a lot of ways to stun the monster with your weapons or paralyze it, thus enabling the player to do some heavy damage or cut certain parts of the monster. Your prey will try to run away to a different area when low on health or tired, and it's crucial to follow it, and instead of killing it, you have a choice to capture it for extra rewards. And that is something that Toukiden is not doing. You cannot capture the monster. So essentially, you have to fight it over and over again and hope that you will be lucky to get this rare material. And that is something that Toukiden is not improved over the Monster Hunter at all. It's just repeating the same mistakes. But anyway, locations in Monster Hunter are beautifully crafted and they have a fair bit of verticality. You can climb certain ledges to execute jump attacks, and even in the newest installment, you can mount the monsters and topple them to enable you to do some extra damage. Now, weapons take time to learn, but are easy at first, but it gets progressively easier. Now, there's a lot to do outside of hunting in Monster Hunter. There's fishing, charm hunting, ore gathering, farming, armor and weapon crafting, palico mini games, and even cooking. You can take your own barbecue spit and cook some meat. In other words, locations offer much more than just an excuse. I'll repeat that, just an excuse to place the monsters. Everything fits, and it gives you this sense of small ecosystem where you, the player, can be at the end of it. Yeah, you can be hunted as well. So it is really tense. I could spend hours talking about Monster Hunter series, but that's not the point of the video. You get the rough idea. It's big. So let's talk about Toukiden now. So is Toukiden Kiwami anything like Monster Hunter? Short answer is no. The only resemblance is the fact that you have a village or city hub. You can go on a quest to do to a certain forgettable location. Yes, the locations are forgettable, very flat. There's no verticality to them. Fight the monster and come back with the loot to craft weapons or armor. There's nothing to do outside of the hunting. A lot of quests have only one area. Well, you have the starting area and the boss area, but really it's just one area. No exploration for the rare loot at all. As soon as you find the monster, you'll find him in the same location to the very end. There's no verticality, like I said before, even though there's aerial combat. Come on! Such a wasted opportunity. Monster hitboxes seems to be a bit broken, especially when you're in the air with certain weapons. If you're above the tail, for example, and you think you won't get hit by a tail sweep, well, think again. The weapons are uninteresting and very cliche. I've seen them in Dynasty Warriors for past, 8 games. Some of them have downright stupid attacks, like dual daggers with its spin to win moveset. On top of that, you can't dodge with all of them. In Monster Hunter at least, you could equip a skill called Evasion that allow you to dodge attacks regardless of the weapon. Well, obviously you had to time it right. Now in this game, it's a little bit different story. You need to equip Mitama or Hero Souls to get a certain effects or skills. And may I add that certain skills are overpowered. Some skills allow you to, not take damage at all. Well, once you take the damage, the skill will wear off. And that's just way too easy. It's way too easy. There's no tension. You can beat the game by spamming attack and rely on your NPC friends, and they will do the rest. They can even pick you up. In Monster Hunter, you had to fight, and your palicos or cat friends merely assisted you. Toukiden allows you to fall in battle, and then your buddies can pick you up. Should you die, then you also have 3 lives to finish the jobs anyways. There's no way to stun the monster, and monster parts come back again, so it destroys the sense of achievement. In Monster Hunter, when you cut the tail is shorter and it won't hurt as much anymore. After 30 hours, I was utterly bored of Toukiden, hoping that the game will challenge me, but it didn't. Monsters, or Oni as they're called them, are boring and cliche. There's no reason to get better armor aside from defensive stat, because skills aren't tied to your armor like in Monster Hunter, but they're tied to your Mitama or hero souls that gives you skills. And boy oh boy, there's around 300 of them to collect. On top of that, you'll have to spend money to level them up, unless you want to grind to level them up through boring battles, repetition. Okay, so is the combat at least interesting? Well, it is boring and feels floaty because there's no tension to it. You don't have to avoid all of the attacks because you have recoveries. You have your skills that can, mitigate the damage and so on and so forth. It's just stupid. It doesn't work. There's no impact to your hits aside from powerful strike that you need to build up the gauge and release one powerful move. And there's tons of special effects on the screen to successfully block the view, so you won't know what's going on. And it's important to see what the monster is doing because you don't want to get damaged. But this game is just like, nah, screw it. Now there's a special move, special button. It's called Eye of the Truth, and it lets you see the monster health and weak points. And when you activate this mode, it blurs the screen. It turns the screen ugly purple. It's just, what were they thinking? What were you thinking? It's just so ugly. Also, do notice that playing with certain weapons like bow or gun makes the game even easier, because all you do is spam attacks and stay in a distance. It's playing it safe. Now I could continue my rage, but you know what? I'll stop here. This combat would have worked better in Dynasty Warriors series, or if it was something else than a poor man's copy of Monster Hunter. They chased the Monster Hunter dollar with awful results. Had they kept interesting level design, like from Dynasty Warriors, you had castles, you can climb the walls, you can fight there, and so on and so forth, and make this game a dungeon crawler like Vindictus is, then this kind of combat and Mitama system would have worked better. But nope, they've screwed it up. They've made a really poor man's copy of Monster Hunter. Therefore, I give this game, for the first time in gameplay Shinobi history, 1 out of 5. Bad port of even worse game. Stay away. It's not worth of your time, and definitely not worthy of your money. Do not be fooled. It's not gonna get better as you progress. It's boring, grindy, and it's an excuse to get Monster Hunter dollar. Essentially, this game repeats all of the shortcomings of Monster Hunter, like grinding for the rare materials, not having a proper explanation where to even get them, That's one of the things that annoyed me in Monster Hunter even, because I had to look it up online. Why do I have to look it up online? Why there's no description or a person that could tell me, oh, this part is from this monster and that monster, and you can find it in this location and that location. Nope. Anyway, Nana, she's out. お疲れ様です。